is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we are here with Joel and Niko of Blind Channel. Thank you so much for being here today. It's great to have you all here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys here. Thanks for more great music during the pandemic times because I know that your last album, Violent Pop, came out like a week before we went into lockdown, and then just now you gave us the brand new album, Lifestyles of the Sick and Dangerous. Just out of curiosity, being that, the world has been rather strange the last 2 years, did the idea of this album just come out from the pandemic and kind of come out while we couldn't do any tours or anything like that? Or was this always kind of like the intention of Blind Channel to move into this direction?
Well, partly it has something to do with like pandemic because the first song we wrote out of frustration of because of the pandemic was Dark Side, and Dark Side was missing one line. There was one line, and that's when we came out with the Lifestyles of the Sick and Dangerous. And when we made up that line, we just thought that maybe we should name the next album The Lifestyles of the Sick and Dangerous. So yeah, kinda it has to do with the pandemic.
Hmm. Was it always maybe the intention, like, was it always like maybe inevitable that Blind Channel would be writing the songs with this meaning of this sort of sound as well? Was this like a preconceived idea to make the fourth Blind Channel album sounding like this, or did it kind of just happen naturally like that?
I think the band and we as songwriters, we were evolving through the process a lot because when we started to write the album, we were just a small local band in northern Finland that were dreaming about the stuff that happening right now. So I think there was a lot of evolving for us as songwriters, as a persons, and as a band. So I would say that this whole album is a journey from being a small band to an internationally well-known rock band. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you listen to like Revolutions and Blood Brothers and Violent Pop, you just see kind of like a natural sound sort of develop in a way. Is there a lot of experimentation that's involved in the songwriting process? Because I almost feel like when I listen to Blind Channel, especially this latest album, it really does sound like a rock and roll, heavy metal, mad scientist experiment, in my point of view.
Yeah, like there's definitely like a lot going on because we like to surprise audiences, we like to surprise our listeners, and we like to surprise ourselves as well. So we like to do crazy stuff, uh, especially in songwriting. And of course, like there was a lot of changes happened. Like we got a new member. Alex joined the band 2 years ago, and the first song we wrote together was Dark Side, and we produced it ourselves. And then when Dark Side became a huge hit, then we kind of like thought that maybe we should do the album exactly the same way. So all the songwriting was by us as a band, and we also produced the album by ourselves. And of course, when we have a like fresh pair of ears in the studio, we got a bit experimental. But that's just what we do. Like we want to make hit songs, but we don't want it to be obvious. We want to surprise people.
Yeah, and when you because you mentioned that this album is sort of like a journey in itself in a way, and when you listen to this album, could a listener like do you recommend that maybe before a listener listens to Lifestyles of the Sick and Dangerous, they should listen to Revolutions and Blood Brothers and Violet Pop to kind of maybe gain like a perspective or a narrative of where Blind Channel has come from in a way?
I don't think you have to do that. I mean, it's always good if you know where the band comes from, like what is the journey be, and how did the band sound like 6 years ago. So I think it's a good thing. But for this album, I think this is the perfect combination of all the elements that we've had in our music in the past and right now. So I would say that you can just jump in the Blind Channel and the violent pop world on this album, so you don't have to kind of listen to the old albums. But for sure, we wish that everyone goes to Spotify or iTunes and pick up the old albums and give them a listen. But we don't like yeah, we recommend that, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, of course. Like if you're interested, then you should check it out. But like we see the first three albums, they were kind of a trilogy, if you know what I mean. And by the third album, we called it Violent Pop because we felt like we completed our own sound. We know what we want to do, like songwriting wise. And then we just kept going. Like now, I think I see Lifestyles of the Sick and Dangerous as a part of the next chapter, the next trilogy, or whatever it's gonna be. So, yeah, I think people can get Blind Channel even if they only listen to the newest album.
Well, and I know it's a very like cliche question to ask what are your influences and whatnot, but when I listen to Blind Channel, I can't determine, like if I were to talk to somebody, the first question is, what kind of music does Blind Channel write? And it really is like everything. There's pop, there's heavy metal, there's rock, there's so many elements. Is it fair to say that because there is 6 members of Blind Channel, that maybe your sound is also a result of maybe all of you guys having maybe different influences and different sources of inspiration?
I think it plays a huge role that me and Jonas, we are from the metal world, and Niko is from the pop world. So before this band started, Niko was singing like Ed Sheeran, Justin Bieber, all that stuff, like influenced from Justin Bieber and Ed Sheeran. And we were playing in metal bands. So I think those two worlds together make something really unique. And also Alex, when he came to the band, and he was a EDM producer and DJ. So I think the combination is something really unique, and yeah, that must be one reason why it sounds like that, and why Blind Channel is the wild animal of the rock world nowadays.
Yeah, we bring a lot of different influences to the studio, like definitely. But also like I also see, because we listen to a lot of music. We just love good music. Like we listen to what's happening in the mainstream, in the radios, and if we hear a cool song, it can be from a metal band, but it can also be like from a pop star like Billie Eilish or The Weeknd or Post Malone, whatever. If we hear a cool song, we want to be able to go that, guys, we should do something like this because this sounds fucking awesome, and we want to be able to do that. We don't want to like we need to do that. So that's why I think that's also a reason why there is a lot of different stuff going on in our songs.
Yeah, I know. Like when I talk to people about Finland and music, a lot of people in the metal world just assume that, oh, they must sound like Children of Bodom or Ensiferum or that style. But I think in Scandinavia, it's not just heavy metal, but it's just music in general. Like I think, some of the greatest pop music, such as Kent, is from Sweden, and then you have all these different elements. But I do want to ask, I've asked a lot of artists. Sometimes, artists have a lot of trouble coming up with new ideas, but being that you guys take inspiration from so many sources and have the sort of musical ADD aspect, do you sometimes have too many ideas to work off of?
Yeah, many times. I think in the studio, when there's like 5 or 6 guys in the studio, it's really a fucking mayhem going on, and there's a lot of ideas. It can be stressing at some point, but we found a way that we can pick the good ideas, and sometimes we just have to deny that this idea you have, it sucks. So it's kind of like we're kind of voting for the idea, like the guys together, that if there's enough people behind your idea, it will work out maybe. But I don't know, maybe
and also like I see that like even we have lots of different kind of ideas. I think we all agree on like what Blind Channel should sound like. Like we share this vision of that, so we can, the easiest argument is to say like this just doesn't sound like Blind Channel, or this sounds exactly like Blind Channel. That we don't want to be the kind of band that just does everything that you don't. The music needs to be recognizable. We want to, when people hear our new song, in the first 3 seconds they need to be able to go, oh shit, this is a new Blind Channel song. So it needs to be recognizable, and that's something we really worked with, like with the 3 previous albums and now with the Live Stops of the Sick and Dangerous, to create a kind of sound that doesn't limit us in a creative way, but also makes us a recognizable band.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't in that regard. If you have like a sound that defines you, some people could argue, oh, you're repetitive, everything sounds the same. But if you bring in all these different styles, people would say, oh, they're directionless, or nothing sounds the same. So I think really you do have to kind of go through your gut instinct and just kind of say fuck it as you write the music.
Yeah, it's a subtle game, definitely. Yeah.
In addition, though, with this new album, not only did I hear many different sounds, but I heard many different emotions. When you compare a track like Opinions to Don't Fix Me to We Are No Saints to ending with Thank You for the Pain, is it fair to say that through the course of the 2 years of the making of this album, that there were a lot of different emotions felt given the state of the world?
I mean, we made a huge fucking breakthrough last year with Dark Side and everything that happened around that song. So it's fair to say that it's been a fucking roller coaster for all of us. Like our lives has changed so much. We're all suddenly big rock stars in Finland. Like you can't go into a fucking bar that there's people recognizing you everywhere. And also we sell 10,000 of tickets in Europe. We had a tour in America. We played the biggest metal festivals in the world. So yeah, it's crazy and gives you a lot of emotions to kind of go through in your head. And it was so easy to put those emotions in the lyrics and into the song. So yeah, I would have to say that, yeah, there's a lot of emotions and a lot of experiences in our lives.
Mhm. Do you guys need to hear the music before you come up with the lyrics, or is there ever a time where maybe a lyrical idea or a lyrical concept can maybe help influence the sound of the song?
Like usually we have some kind of concept ready or a song title or just one line or whatever. Like usually we have some like idea when we start making the song. And of course the music starts coming. I usually like just start writing a lot of lyrics to my phone, and I already have like many albums where the lyrics on my phone right now for the next albums. And then when the music starts happening, then it's just kind of like, okay, I have some lines. So it starts from different places, but usually we have at least a concept that we want to make this kind of song with this kind of title or lyrics or this kind of chorus or whatever. Yeah, usually the lyrics born at the same time with the music, or then there are some ideas already ready for the songwriting session.
Do you want is the music meant to be open to interpretation, or do you try to maybe get the listener involved in the meaning of the song as much as the music itself?
Like we don't want to be too obvious. We don't want to be too obvious with the lyrics, but mostly we write from personal perspective, and which was crazy to notice. I think we noticed it some at some point during the third album, the Violent Pop album, that the more personal we get, the more people felt like, oh my god, this song is about me and this is about my life, because everybody's going through the same shit. So so it's kind of like of course every person they find their own lives in the songs. That's usually what makes a hit song, that people like can connect with it. But mostly it's just our experiences, and sometimes we're pretty straightforward with the things we want to say.
And I think you get the best of both worlds in that regards. Like I think sometimes being straightforward. Some people like say I've heard somebody criticize like song lyrics before, being like, it's not metaphorical enough. It's not deep. It's just so obvious. I'm like, you're writing a song about an obvious aspect of humanity that relates to people. That's deeper than any metaphor you can give.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Being that Blind Channel consists of two vocalists, and you guys both bring vocal contributions, do both of you though kind of need to be in the same headspace, whether it would be writing the lyrics or tracking the vocals or even performing live, in order to kind of like make both of your voices sound like they belong in the same song together and make sure that it sounds rather consistent?
We don't want to be the classical rapper and the singer thing anymore. We want to mix the voices. I think my voice is more raspy and dirty, and Niko is doing more stuff that it's more clean, more pure, more in your face. But we want to kind of like mix that. If there's a part in the song that brings you emotion that needs to be super aggressive, then it's easy to say that Niko is doing the screaming part, or we want to have some really soft melody singing. Maybe I can do it lower, or we can build a harmony for two vocals. And I always loved bands with two vocalists, like the classical Swedish ABBA that was around like 70s or 80s. So they have like two vocalists, and it was super good to hear that. Like there's like two voices going the harmonies, and same thing with Icona Pop or even Linkin Park. I mean, I just love that there's like two or more vocalists in the band. It can really bring you a lot of new like perspective and horizon to musical wise. And yeah, I've always loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about like being in the same headspace. We're very different kind of people, me and Joel, but also like because we agree on things like we like the same songs, we like the similar songs, and we too, and the rest of the guys as well. Like we know what we want Blind Channel to be. So there's usually not a problem with like singing about similar stuff, because and we've been together as a band for almost 10 years now. So we've been through the same shit, so we know what we're writing about.
Yeah, because I've always wondered, like one of my personal favorite bands is Lacuna Coil, and they have two singers as well. And I've always wondered because I really do enjoy the lyrics, especially with this new album. I feel like it is very relatable. But even though you guys have been in the band together and you all have experienced similar things, we are also our own persons, and we also have our own trials and tribulations. So I was always wondering, like, if you wanted to write a song about like a personal subject matter, or something that only you've experienced, is it maybe harder for maybe the other vocalists to sort of like relate to that and write lyrics accommodating to that?
I don't see it that way. Like if you take an example, for example, "Bad Idea," the song, I think it was the third single from the new album. And "Bad Idea" definitely started from like my experiences. I made the first demo, but then like Joel has gone through similar stuff in his life, and that's like how he brought his own experiences into the table, and we just made the song and the lyrics out of that. So it hasn't been a problem. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you guys ready for the most difficult question of the whole interview now?
Bring it on.
All right. How do you know when a song is done?
It never is. The song is never
Yeah, but
ready.
I to be honest, with Dark Side, even with Dark Side, I remember it was the last mixing version of the track. I was like, I think the vocal melody should be louder on the chorus. I was like super sure that it's not loud enough, because like I want the vocals to be in your face. But now it's, I think, 67 or something, no, 57 million streams. So I guess I was wrong, but it's still like it's a process that never ends. You just have to.
And who knows, like maybe if the vocals would have been a bit like louder, it could have a 1 billion stream. Like nobody's
Yeah,
ever gonna
yeah.
know that. And that's it's easier for your mind, it's easier for your blood pressure if you if you just accept that the song is song from our point of view, that's never ready. And like for me, I hear a lot of cool melodies and stuff, like even we have the master in our hands. I'm like, oh shit, I should have sing this part this way or that way. Then I just do it live. Then we just do it on the live shows. And because it's our song, we can do whatever we want. And yeah, it's a lot easier when you accept that the song it's never gonna be ready.
Fair enough. That's a very good way of putting it. And you also touched upon this briefly, and I did want to ask you this. This was one of the most important questions of the interview. But next year is the 10-year anniversary of Blind Channel. And I remember first hearing of you guys, back in 2013, when you guys first started coming up. And I'm just really happy for all the success you guys have been having. Is there going to be any sort of celebration to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Blind Channel?
I guess we have to play in our hometown. Maybe we will play in the same club that where we had the first show. We will play that 10 times.
Yeah.
10 nights in a row. But that's my idea. I think the management and everyone is not with me, but that's my personal dream, to play in the small fucking club and 10 nights in a row. Every night sold out, so that will be great. Like
There's definitely gonna be a party, but there's just the problem is that we're playing Helsinki Ice Hall at the end of this year, so we're 1 year early actually. Because when we started in 2013, we said that we're gonna celebrate our 10th year as a band in Helsinki Ice Hall. So now we're 1 year early, and we can't really do that again next year. Or who knows? Maybe we can. But we have a lot of ideas. But at least there is gonna be a party. Let's see which kind of gigs there are gonna be, which kind of shows. We're gonna come up with something. We just have to.
Are you gonna maybe, like, for the set list, dive into some deep cuts and play some songs that maybe you haven't played in a while or never played off of Revolutions or Blood Brothers or?
I think we're gonna do that, but we're gonna do that already, or some of that we're gonna do already in the ice hall. So it's just like we're just too early. We're just too early with the ice hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad but true that we have a first arena headline show already in December. But well, it's almost in the New Year's Eve, so we can call it as a 10-year anniversary at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you want to celebrate the exact 10-year anniversary, just bring that to America. We would love to have you guys here.
That would be
Let's
great.
do that.
Yeah, and that led me to my final question before we go. First off, I want to thank you all so much for being here today and for such a awesome conversation. Is there just with Blind Channel, again, 10-year anniversary, we got this brand new album out now. We could be expecting to see Blind Channel on the road a lot this year and a lot of great things happening, right?
Yeah, we have the European headline tour starting in 2 weeks. We play for 1 month around Europe. We play UK, Germany, all the Middle Europe, and then we come at yeah, we're coming to Los Angeles in November, but we don't do any shows. We're just writing stuff and doing like photo shoots and all that stuff. But next year, I'm pretty sure we're coming back to USA.
All right.
Yeah, we have a lot of a lot of plans in motion, and let's just hope we get to come back there as soon as possible. We'll let everyone know when we're coming.
Yeah, we're eagerly waiting. Thank you guys so much. Everybody, we are here with Blind Channel. Be sure to check out their brand new album, Lifestyles of the Sick and Dangerous, out on Century Media. We will see you next time on Heavy New York.